TruthSeekah and/or its affiliates are not responsible for any strange phenomena that may occur during or after listening to this podcast, which may include the following: heightened senses of awareness, psychic abilities, UFO sightings, alien contact, time loss, out-of-body experiences, ringing in the ears, ESP, lucid dreaming, increased synchronicities, astral projection, telepathy, stronger intuition, levitation, miraculous healings, and/or remote viewing. Please be advised to listen at your own discretion.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the TruthSeekah podcast.
Gargoyles! Psychics! Everything's ungodly! Dark savage!
Streaming live at TruthSeekah.com.
She's not a Christian!
Give it up, y'all.
Your portal to the paranormal, esoteric, and all things spiritual.
She's tampering in dark sided stuff!
And now, your host, TruthSeekah.
Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Back again. My name is TruthSeekah. This is the TruthSeekah podcast. Excited, delighted to be with you guys for another amazing episode. Listen, we cover all things spiritual. We're going to be talking about conspiracy theories and you know, where do they come from, what they do, which ones are real, are any of them real. We're gonna get into it and see if these things have any implications. So it's going to be fun. I'm going to be talking with a friend of mine that we've been friends with for some time, and I've been looking forward to speaking with him for a long time. So it's going to be good. Make sure you guys stay tuned. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody supporting this podcast, supporting my work, my music, and everything that I'm creating. My main hub for doing this is through Patreon. You guys are enablers for me to create music, for me to create podcasts, and bring these beautiful, intricate, weird discussions to the table. And so you guys are enablers. I'm blaming you. If it's whoever doesn't like it, blame the patrons, because they want more. They are the people who are putting their money behind this and saying, TruthSeekah, keep doing what you're doing. It's working. I love it. So if you're not partnered with me yet on Patreon, please go over patreon.com/TruthSeekah. There you get access to my entire discography of music. There's 200 plus songs. There is, you get access to our Thursday night School of the Mystics, which is the community aspect to what we're building here. A bunch of other really cool stuff. Check it out. Patreon.com/TruthSeekah. And there's a couple new people who have joined within the last week or so, and I'm going to give them shout outs and say their name personally on the air. So shout out to Cameron Culbreth. Thank you, Cameron, for coming on and believing in the work. Shout out to Kimberly Fair. Thank you, Kimberly, for coming on as well. You guys mean the world. Thank you for enabling me to do this. Patreon.com/TruthSeekah. What else do we got going on? Well, on the 26th of June, we have a breathwork seminar with John Illuminati Congo, my good friend. I feature him on all of my projects, all of my albums. Anything that I teach and I've learned, or my love for breath work, has came from doing sessions with John Illuminati Congo. Really love his work, and he was doing it before. Well, I don't know about before, but it was doing it in the public eye before we all heard the names like the Wim Hof method and those kind of things. He was doing rebirthing breath work, and I fell in love with the breath. And I understand that the breath is the spirit of God. It is the Ruach. It is the Pneuma. And those who are led by the spirit of God are the sons and daughters of God. And that word spirit there translates to breath. And so to commune with God through the breath. And so it's so beautiful to explore that. And so everything that I've learned, I've got from him. And I've got stuff from spirit and other people as well. But my love started from John Illuminati Congo, and he will be doing the seminar at the Mystic Circle, themysticcircle.net. Go over there right now, register, get tickets. It's going to be amazing. Dude knows his stuff and he's really good. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into today's discussion. This is my second podcast today. The first one was beautiful. If you missed it, go back and listen. But this is number 2. My friend today, Brent Lee Regan. Brent, welcome to the TruthSeekah podcast, my friend. How are you?
My friend, I'm doing good. All right. I'm doing all right.
All right, that's good, man. Our relationship from where I know you, remember you, time flies, right? It's been over the internet. When I got into the conspiracy movement, the truther movement, right? Your name came up of looking up music that talked about 9/11, that talked about government conspiracies and things that go bump in the night, right? Your music came up, and I want to say 2010 or so, like it was early on that I found your music and added you on Facebook.
Actually earlier.
Probably. Time is weird for me, man. You know, MySpace. God,
MySpace.
Dog. I knew it was
Man, that album came out in 2008, and you had me on there then.
Wow, MySpace. Time is weird for me. I can't lie. It just really is. 2008.
It's been a long time.
MySpace, right? Time flies. Found your music, found your work, and now and things are jogging back. I'm sure that your avatar was 9/11 Truth or something like that at some time, right? And so we met through that stream, and I put out an album called The Fall of Babylon that was very similar. The Masons are coming for you. They run everything. Be scared. Jesus will destroy them one day. You know, all this kind of stuff. And there's a movement, there's a community behind the truther community or the conspiracy community. And you were, drenched in that. You had T-shirts and merch and all that kind of stuff, and your music was in on it. And that's where we come from. I've always wanted to talk to you. I've always wanted to pick your brain. This is the first time we've really talked. We've kind of gone back and forth on Messenger, but I wanted to have you on the show and to pick your brain. And even so now, because you're making a lot of noise in that community, because you're essentially calling BS and saying, listen, I'm done with the quote unquote truther movement. And you're giving reasons why. You are debunking conspiracy theories that you once wholeheartedly believed. And we're going to talk about that, why you're doing this. Why do you think some of these things are fake? Which ones are real? And just where you're at spiritually and as far as it comes in the truther community, man. So let's just go back before we get into breaking down, busting that stuff down, whatever. How did you fall in love with conspiracies? For me, it was 9/11. That was the first one. What was it for you?
My exposure to all that really, it all begins basically. I used to have a program basically, and we used to share each other's folders on computer, where we share, like, music producers would share samples and things like that. And I had this one guy on there who, interestingly enough, it ends up turning out to be Henrik from Red Ice. Yes. His brother. So I was looking through his folders, and there was a documentary folder. And I was like, sweet, I like documentaries. I like learning about stuff. So I just downloaded the lot, start watching it, started clicking on things. The first thing I come across was a Jordan Maxwell video. It's like called The New Millennium or something like that. And he was talking about the symbols on the dollar bill. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I was like, I used to see those symbols on the dollar when I was a kid. I didn't know what they were. And now he's talking about Masons. Oh, that's pretty interesting. My stepdad used to always talk about the Masons on base because he was in the military. So yeah, I didn't really think that much of it at first. Clicking through, saw a 9/11 video. 9/11 in plain sight, it was called. This is like back in 2003, maybe. So I just kind of started watching stuff like that. First of all, I'm like, what's this? Because I've always been into geopolitics. I've always been very interested in the way the world works, political structure, like I said, my stepdad was in the military, so you always had to be kind of aware of geopolitics because your stepdad could go to war. You know, your base could get bombed. So I was always interested into that stuff. So it really came by accident, just me watching these videos. And eventually, well, I just was knee deep in everything. It took a while, but yeah, I'm here now.
Yeah. So you're into all of this stuff now. What about the need to tell it? What about putting it in your music? Like where does that tie in? You getting into hip hop and music and putting these themes within your music?
It's the same is because I've always been interested in politics. I always liked political music, really. That, like, you know, music is an expression of yourself. So if that's what I'm interested in, that's what I'm going to talk about. I used to talk about society and stuff, and I was in a metal band, and I used to talk about that stuff all the time. That's just what I was interested in. So it's just natural. That was the thing I was interested in. I'm going to go and continue to put that in my music.
And so that's what I talk about. Like whatever you're learning, whatever you're studying, that comes in, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's an expression of you, isn't it? You know, your art is your expression of you. Whatever you soak in around the world, you put it out in your art.
What part of the world are you located in?
I'm in Bristol, the United Kingdom.
What were some of your inspirations with hip hop? Like who are some of the bigger names that really lit a fire within you to want to be doing it or to listen to early on?
Oh man, I've been into hip hop like pretty much all my life. I had this little red cassette when I was 5 years old that my stepdad gave to me, and it was like rap's top 10 hits or something. Run DMC on there, Chantel, loads of amazing old school stuff, you know, and I just listened to hip hop my entire life and all other types of music. But what got me into actually making hip hop and rapping, well, rapping first, Biggie. Biggie was the big one.
Biggie Smalls.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you liked him over Tupac?
Oh yeah.
See,
I mean, you know, Pac's good. Pac's all right. I ain't got a problem. But, you know, people have their preferences.
nice.
I just like the way that Biggie builds his structures.
Mhm.
It was a real slick and wordy and lots of big sentences, you know.
Yeah.
And Pac was very blunt and right to the point. But I
Yeah.
just liked that
That's true.
other stuff.
That's true. Did you ever get into Bone Thugs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was when I was like 12 or 13. I think I heard him first.
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
Thuggish, Ruggish,
Yeah.
love of money.
It was some old scary song that he did, and I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
That was the
For
first
sure.
time I heard him. I remember that.
for sure. All right, so let's dive in. So you're a hip hop artist, conspiracy theorist at the time. A lot of people don't like that word, especially now. There's documentaries coming out now. Hey, the government made that word up to debunk it, and they call it a conspiracy, and then they show it on television. They're putting it in the movies so that you think that it's normal. They want to put it in front of you, and so it's really weird when we're talking about conspiracies because there's so much of like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about aliens? Are you talking about the New World Order? Are you talking about like your phone spying on you?
It's so wide.
So many, and so
wide.
We're gonna get specific on some of them that you believed, but instead of getting specific on some of them, you watch all these documentaries, which we all have, right? And it kind of, wow, you start looking in. I remember letting a buddy come over and I'm telling him about this stuff. He's drinking beer in front of my computer by himself for like 5 hours. Just after that, he's die hard. He's diehard. You know what I'm saying? And he watched those same documentaries. There's music playing. There's a voiceover. There's convincing. Jordan Maxwell is wearing a suit and he's speaking from a place of authority. Young man, you do not know. You know, and it's convincing. It's convincing. And he can tell you anything they want. They can make it up, which a lot of conspiracy theories are made up. I think we can make up our own, and they will start to catch fire. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get into what did it for you to say, hey man, this is I need to get out of this. It wasn't just something that you believed. You're like working to further these agendas, whatever they were, even if they were created or 9/11. What was it that made you have a change of heart? I'll say that.
Well, like I've always had certain issues. You know, they're like you said, because the conspiracy culture or the truth movement, whichever term you want to use, I kind of use them interchangeably. They've got a lot of genres. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of genres that I felt was on the fringe, so we didn't have to worry about them. Specifically, like shape-shifting reptilians. It's the Jewish people or any of that kind of stuff. I rejected that outright and always thought that was just ridiculous. But I always thought that was just a fringe thing. You know? So besides the fringe stuff that I didn't agree with, and the things that started coming out, just like a little bit after 9/11 with like holographic planes and energy weapons and things like that, I started kind of thinking, I don't know about that, but I'll just push it to the side because that's just the very few people on the fringe saying that kind of stuff. What really started to change for me was Sandy Hook. When Sandy Hook happened, within, like, we used to watch these things happen, you and me both. We used to see an event and we'd be online and we'll talk about what we're seeing, and the whole community is picking apart every single piece of news that's coming out, every statement that's being made by the police, everything. And, you know, all the information starts getting formed there. And what did it for me with Sandy Hook was there was this idea that everyone kept going to, that it was a hoax and that it was crisis actors. Yeah. And
same people, and they've got pictures of like this one woman screaming at 17 different catastrophes.
Yeah. And I come from an era where it's like we had false flags. People died. That was the point. They'd kill. What we thought of, what I used to believe is they pulled off 9/11 and they murdered 3,000 people nearly on that day to invoke this fear out of us. They didn't need to fake it. They actually did it, you know, and so it was a false flag. They pretended it was someone else doing it. And then around Sandy Hook, I mean, some shooters, other shooters, like I guess James Holmes was a little bit like that. Yeah. There, you know, people were kind of acting like he didn't do it, but I wasn't really questioning it that much. But it was Sandy Hook where they were kept acting like it's not him. And here's all the crisis actors. And then Boston Marathon happened, and that they did exactly the same thing. And all these same pictures, and look, it's people from Sandy Hook, and this and that. And I just started thinking, why does it need to be a hoax? Why aren't they just doing it normal, like actually killing people? Why would they?
Oh yeah, showing people with fake blown off legs and stuff like that.
Wouldn't just do it?
Why supposedly showing like people with anything you can think of, really, it's out there. That's the weird thing. But showing people with like, it looks like they have a blown off leg, but their leg is really folded back and they're sitting on their leg, but it looks like it's dismembered, and people are taking pictures and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, that era, like that's where the memes started. That's where like
towards the truther community who are like wanting, like, give us more fake stuff. We got you. kind of thing.
They really thought that they caught something, and it just wasn't. That stuff just wasn't adding up. And then I was just thinking, oh, maybe it must just be a false flag, and these people just got it wrong. And then now I look back at it and I see I was making excuses for myself. I was trying to still make stuff fit for me, even if it blatantly doesn't look right on the screen. I'm actually thinking, oh, well, it must be a false flag because I've already thought this. I'm stuck in my ways.
I've watched documentaries you haven't watched.
Yeah.
And so what was it? So you're seeing all of this stuff and people who are wanting it, and I'm in the same boat with you, right?
Yeah.
My conspiracy stuff. I say conspiracy because some people, again, when I mention aliens, UFOs, people say, oh, that's conspiracy too. Like, you know, so we mention conspiracy and a lot of people are going to throw everything into, okay, you guys believe in religion. Religion's a conspiracy, you know, whatever. But we're talking about these false flag attacks on the government or from the government. And you're seeing it, you're into some of them, there's holes in it. And then we see what happened with Alex Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I'm not talking about him being deplatformed, but him, like, people are like looking to like, I said this on an episode, and I try to watch my language on here most of the time, but with the conspiracy thing, like, if you are correct and you found out that this was a hoax and this never happened and nobody died, and you stood up for justice, truth, and equality, which most people think they're doing, you guys are lying. Nobody died in Sandy Hook. So much so to where they're saying someone's daughter who really died, your daughter didn't die. Stop lying to people. Your daughter's not dead. And like, your daughter really died, and you've got mobs of people, and they're doing articles, they're doing interviews about your daughter who's hiding, and you're in on it, and you're a grieving father, and there's this weird mob of the internet who claims your kid is still alive. If you're true now, because you're rolling the dice, if it's true and your daughter, you know, and these people found a hole in the system, they're a hero. You're a hero. Hey man, our government is lying to us, which, trust me, they're not telling us the truth. But when it comes to some of this stuff, if you're wrong, you're one of the biggest scumbags on the face of the planet. When it comes for something that really happened, and you're denying it and you're accusing people. I'll say this. I got a friend of mine, he's probably watching. He was watching a while ago. They begged me to get into stuff. They begged me to talk about transgenders. They begged me to give like these polarizing issues. There's one conspiracy theory right now that I'm not into this stuff anymore, but they begged me to get into it. What's your take? You need to talk about it. It's the government agenda. They got all these reasons why. One of the big ones is that all of the women actresses in Hollywood are really men. Yeah. Michelle Obama is a man. Sandra Bullock is a man. Angelina Jolie, Taylor Swift, they're all men. Hey, transgenders, you can see their Adam's apple, you can see their bulge in their bikinis and they believe it wholeheartedly. And in their mind, it is to that the demonic Hollywood elite wants to degender men because men are created in the image of God. So they want to degender them and take their, listen, we got a lot of weird stuff going on right now. But that one, and them wanting me to talk about it, and I got to watch what I say. Like, the only way you can know that for sure is if you've kind of like been in bed with them. Like if you've been with them. They have to
disclose it.
Did they show you?
Witness it. Those are the two things, aren't they?
Yeah, because but they said, well, would they have disclosed it? Because you can see the Adam's apple, you can see the bulge, you can see Obama called Michelle Michael.
Well, then this would probably make him very angry as well. If Michelle Obama was trans, then she's not used to be a man. She is a woman. Trans women are women. And I'm sure that will annoy you. Not you, TruthSeekah, but that might annoy some of the people who seem to have a problem with it. This is one of the things that I actually used to reject way back when, because that trans agenda has been going on for a long time. Like, it did start, like you said, with lots of bad Michelle Obama pictures. Like, it's just, you know, I don't want, if I say something, you know, to anybody, please don't take it offensive, because I'm talking about myself. I'm you. I was you. I was all in. Like, I believed so much of this. So I just wanted to, you know, I'm sorry, but that thought is ridiculous. And I'm not trying to say you're ridiculous, my friend, whoever else is watching this. It's just that idea is ridiculous. You don't need to cross a line. You know, and that whole thing really crosses a line. A lot of this abusive stuff that started happening.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay to question that stuff. I think it's okay to be like, hey, those are weird pictures, man. Hey, what's her name? The lady who got killed after she said, Joan Rivers is on camera calling Michelle Obama a tranny, and she was on her last leg anyway, and she died right after she said that. She died after saying that. So, like, you've got all this evidence, and I think it's okay to be like, that's strange. Those pictures are strange. But once you start verbally telling people, the Bible speaks very, very clearly about bearing false witness against the neighbor. If you're true, you are a hero. You are a warrior of virtue, and you are most honored among the brethren. But if you're not, you're in trouble for bearing false witness and starting conspiracy theories and pushing rumors that scare people, that are fear porn, hysteria. If you're not right, you got to be 1,000%. You can't even be 100%. Like, you have to know before you come on the internet, create blogs and podcasts and videos and all of this reaction stuff that gets clicks. It gets clicks, bro.
It does.
It gets clicks. We clicked on it. Me and you both.
We clicked it. We shared it.
Yep.
We shared it.
So why are you not? Like, what's the harm in it? It's fun. Like, what's the harm in it?
It used to be, mate. It used to be fine. Let's clarify one thing as well. Like, you brought it up a minute ago about like the wide conspiracy theory community or whatever, and like bring aliens into it or Bigfoot or any of that type of stuff. I don't bring any of that into it. If it's supernatural, if it's paranormal, you know, any of that type of stuff, this is not what I'm talking about. When I'm talking, that's fun. Enjoy yourself.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I love watching Bigfoot videos. They're fun. All right. It's all good. I don't call that the conspiracy theory stuff, because, you know, the Bigfoot issue isn't part of the truther movement. You know, I think the truther movement's about politics. Generally, and when I'm trying to say come away from this, I'm talking about Illuminati, New World Order, global cabal that is secretly controlling every single aspect of our life. And then they also want global domination, but they already control everything. So what do you mean they want global? That thing, that's all I'm kind of talking about. So now I clarified that. Sorry, what was the question again?
Nothing really. I'm trying to.
Oh, well, you asked what was the harm?
Yeah, the harm.
The harm, right? Back then, it wasn't harmful. I didn't think that it was very harmful, but over the past few years, since Pizzagate, things have gotten very harmful. Some very dangerous.
They were seeking people out.
Dangerous people got hold of these theories. And they run wild with it, because some of them them theories, the letter group, you know, their stuff is wild, and it's caused a lot of harm. People are dying over this stuff. People are getting shot. People are getting murdered. People are killing themselves because they can't take the fact that a new world order is coming.
Yeah.
Like, we got to worry about some people's mental health. I'm not saying everybody, just some people, right? But I mean, this has gotten crazy, and it's not just like you and me. I believe you're a decent person. You've always been a very spiritual person. You follow Jesus. You like me. The stuff that I find really dangerous right now is this far right lean to a lot of these conspiracy theories. Things like white genocide and stuff like that. Like some invaders are coming. All of a sudden it's turned on the people and not actually the elite. That's very dangerous to me. Anders Breivik, the guy who blew up a building in Sweden and then shot a bunch of children at a summer camp, believed in this stuff. He believed that there was a white genocide and that he was killing all these children because they would be the next generation of socialists. And he was scared of cultural Marxism. Now, that stuff's, it's just dangerous, man. It used to be fun, Bigfoot, all that kind of stuff, but the insurrection, so many things recently proves this stuff is dangerous.
Yeah, it's when people start acting on it. Again, for me, what I'm saying, and this is the beginning. Is just the slander. It's the name calling. It's calling people out of their name. It's saying you're bearing false witness against your neighbor. Like, that's totally unethical, and it's really serious in God's eyes, I believe. So I try not to do it. Even giving social commentary and making fun publicly, which is huge on YouTube, reaction videos. Yeah. You giving your thoughts, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and then you start making up stuff. So there's a lot of that stuff that happens. But I think it's serious. But then the next step is not just gossiping or saying stuff. It's when, like, you're saying stuff enough and loud, and you're convincing enough, and you're loud enough, like Alex Jones, to people start like looking for these people who weren't killed there. And I think Vice did a really good piece on this, and there's a Vice documentary, and at the very beginning it follows a guy who is harassing a mourning father who's one of their kids died in one of these shootings, and the person is harassing, "You're lying, your daughter's alive." He's like at his house, got his address, because Alex Jones gave a lot of these people's addresses. And so the truthers want to get to the bottom of it, and they go and they harass and they gang stalk and they, "Hey, you're not really, your daughter's in there somewhere hiding, and your daughter's dead."
Yeah.
Like, what is the retribution for
It's
that?
the worst
Like
thing.
in the spirit realm, it's not good.
Dude, no.
Not good.
That's the thing, man. Like, look at the fruit that this lot bears. From when we started, like, that was like, the seeds were planted over 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were kind of like, the tree kind of coming up, and now this is the leaves and the fruits coming out of it. And look at the fruit of it, man. The fruit is so...
No, it is crazy. It is another leg.
It's bad fruits.
Everyone's a conspiracy theorist right now, but the weather's right. I mean, look what's going on in our world, not our country, not our society, but our world. Like, look what's going on. And so, like, I always joke, it's like your grandmother is like an expert conspiracy theorist now, a right-wing QAnon supporter, conspiracy. We're going to have 3 days of blackness. They're turning the internet off for 3 days. They said this 2 years ago, a year ago. Everybody get ready. QAnon just released it. All of these, even the conservative Christians, jumped in the Trump train. Trump became like the biggest conspiracy polarizing person. I think some of it could have been I think they knew what they were doing. I just watched the documentary. I watched the documentary on Netflix, and it was about this the senator somewhere where you are. I trust me, I get the name. But he went and he started polarizing Nazi punk rockers and stuff like that, and it was like this white empowerment thing, kind of everything that this dude was doing. He did. Trump like did everything that this guy was doing. I wish I could find his name. It was a documentary that I started watching on Netflix. If you really want it, inbox me, I'll find it. But it was weird to watch it and be like, oh, this is Trump. Like, this is everything that this guy's saying. And he's got the people rallying in the streets, all the skinheads, young angst, white power, which is what we call the far right here in America. Like, Trump got all these people. And it's like, this isn't new. Like, there's some stuff, like, you can rally people. People can be rallied, but with different causes.
Yeah, it's a popular tool. It's a tool for politics. It's populism. That's really what it is. Like, the definition here of populism: a political approach that strives to appeal to ordinary people who feel that their concerns are disregarded by established elite groups. That's conspiracism to me. And if you just use that you get that crowd in with it and just, point the finger at the elites. Trump had a brilliant idea. He's not a politician. He's not like the rest of them. I'm a great businessman, and I can come in and fix all the politics because all of them are the same. Vote for me because I'm completely different. And people did. On that message. I don't think like, was it 70 something million that voted the first time for him? Mm-hmm. Like that, they're not like all white supremacists or anything. They feel like, there's these people are elites. They don't speak for us. Let's put someone else in and shake it up.
Yeah, but that's always been done though. Even the guy that I watched, he was an actor. I mean, with an actor, like, you got somebody who's really good at playing a character, even to make up a character. Or I need you to study this, play this role. This guy does it. Trump does it. Trump's an actor. He's in show business as well. That's where his heart is. And then you have Regan, who is an actor. You get these actors, somebody that the people will rally behind and vote for, because they're charismatic. They can tell you what you want to hear and stuff like that.
All you gotta be is a public speaker. Be comfortable speaking in front of the public, and you're there.
Yeah. Now let's go into, because there's some stuff that I believe, and and a lot of I still believe 9/11 was an inside job. Like, I do believe in a global government that's running things, that's calling shots and stuff like that. Why don't you? I have reasons. I watch those documentaries. I've read the books. You look at things and it shapes the way you think. It shapes the way you view what's happening right now with the jab and all of this stuff. Rightfully so. Mm-hmm. We're in weird times, man. For sure.
Are, definitely.
Why don't you believe? We'll talk about 9/11, but so you just reneged everything? Like, you don't believe in any of it? Some of you still believe in? Okay, so what about
not at all.
What about a one world government, a new world order of, like, there's a standard, there's a vision that we want to happen, whether it's technological, whether it's with machines, whether it's marking people with chips, a shadow government that are having meetings and talking about plans to roll out the vid. You know what I'm saying? Plans to roll out this, the plans. I believe in that. What do you not? You don't believe in like a global conspiracy anymore?
No.
What did it for you?
I look.
I'm not here to debate. I'm like, I think that whatever reality we choose becomes real to us anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not here to debunk anything today. I'm not here to make anyone.
Yeah, I'm just looking for talking points with you.
Exactly. I just wanted, that's why I want to have this conversation with you, because it's a conversation. Like, you'll ask me a question and I'll answer it. But no, man, I feel like I'm not debunking anything. I'm not bringing any facts. All right, I'm just talking today. But I will be making some videos about this stuff, and I will be online soon. All right, promise you that. But this conspiracy is far too grand. I kept trying to make things fit when it just wasn't fitting anymore. And if I couldn't make one piece fit, I'd have to have an extra person in. And what's going on today is even bigger proof to me that it'd be pretty damn hard to run the world to try and do this world government thing. Like none of these people, most of these countries can't do a thing correctly. Everyone is messing
bunch of imbeciles and monkeys.
Yes. And this is the point. This is like part of the thing. Like I do honestly think a lot of the stuff that we uncover as nefarious is incompetence. It's actually incompetence. And you know, there's corruption on other sides. Like to me, if we can just I'll just quickly say about 9/11 for instance. Like the question of why couldn't the government stop it? I think that honestly is because of they were incompetent at the time. None of the agencies could speak together. I completely agree with that idea, but I can't completely disprove that it wasn't an inside job, but I can see the incompetence.
And obviously because you came from that, you know why people believe it, right? I mean, you know the reasons multiple points. I believe, yeah. I'm sure I could tell you any reason I believe in you, and you know it, and you believed it at one point, right?
Yeah.
For me, the biggest thing about that, I think,
is repeated stuff.
Building 7 is huge for me. Most people don't even know about that. It wasn't on the news, They didn't, but they know about it now because we've all been yapping about it for nearly 20 years. Back in the day, everyone was like, "What's a building 7?" Yeah. So so let me just get your opinion on. Most people think it caught on fire and fell.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
I can't prove otherwise, but I do believe that story that it came down from fire. And you also it does look like a controlled demolition. That all those buildings. I completely agree. Because why else would I have believed it in the first place?
Exactly.
I can't answer it, but I can't.
None of us can, and maybe it's the same. Maybe it's the same judgment.
A controlled demolition.
Maybe the same. The judgment's the same for me to say that. That this happened, 100%, and it didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but one of the points that I'd like to start making in my videos coming forward is, if it is an inside job, you still can't prove intent. You still can't prove that it was because they want to install a new world order or because they want to do this. Those sorts of things we can't actually prove. We have to let history prove that. Mm-hmm. This is where I just want people to come away from theorizing too much. Weigh up options, cool, no problem, but let's not go too far into theory. Because how are we going to make change if it's like chasing shadows? Could be completely wrong. And a lot of times we have ended up being wrong.
Yeah, and I think one of my biggest reasons of not to even push or promote or talk about much, even though I believe it, I really do hold a lot of conspiracy theories. I do think they're real, but I won't speak on them, for many different reasons. The biggest one is that, and people say, "Oh, you gave up your power." There's nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do? We're going to overthrow, brother. We're all going to come together. We're going to stop this. No, you're not. You're not. So I was like, if so, whatever conspiracy theories I believe, I try not to even speak on them.
Yeah.
Because I can't change them. And they said, well, you give up your, yes, you can, brother. Get back with the truth movement. We're building in numbers now. We can overthrow the government. They tried to do it, bro.
And it
In
didn't
America,
work.
they rushed the Capitol, dude. You
I
know?
know. I was watching it live, man, and I was in shock. I couldn't believe.
And those were truthers, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you would call those truthers QAnons, like conspiracy
absolutely.
theories to the T.
Yeah.
The QAnon
they were just
shaman.
a different. Look, they were just a different genre of that truth movement.
Yeah.
They were like a little bit, like if you like soulful rap, they were like gangster rap. It's like they're just two types of genre, but there's still a similar message, still a similar mindset. It's still about New World Order, Illuminati, deep state, whatever you want to call it. The terms seem to change throughout the years, but it's always the same sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that I did give up on this as well was the RFID chip. And obviously, if me and you being in it as long as we were, like, we had times and dates and writing in government writings of when this was going to be implemented. I think it was like March 8th, 2008 or something, and everyone would build up to it. It's coming. We had documents, we had papers, we had diagrams on how they would give it to you. And this was in 2008. Mind you, it was probably a little bit earlier because it was a build up to this date. That date comes and goes, nothing happens. Here we are now.
How many times has it happened?
The same conspiracy stuff that we were into 15 years ago, they're coming back around. Rightfully so. Like, same new people are finding those same documents and those same things, and it's brand new to them. And for us, it's like come and gone. Yeah, that didn't pan out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's happened all the time. Like God, I don't know how many times I heard like that the markets were going to crash in next month, or there was going to be a nuclear war with North Korea. It's coming. And all these different things that it's gonna kickstart World War III, and then that's when they'll take complete domination. And I kept waiting for it, but it's not happening. I just really on it. And like I said, like, you believe in it. I don't think any less of you. You like me as a Christian. We don't believe in superiority over other people. There's no sin greater. There's no person better than each other. Everyone is just a human, so I don't really think less or more of someone in what they believe in, that type of stuff. I just want to put across that this stuff is dangerous. And
a friend of mine, he's a good friend, he's commenting right now.
Yeah.
He says QAnon is the only organization that can take out the actual international deep state. QAnon has the power, and QAnon, I guess, and its followers can take out the deep state. What do you think about that?
I don't think that they can. First of all, QAnon isn't actually an organization. It's like saying the Truth Movement is an organization. We're not. It's like
Christianity
saying
Christianity is an organization.
Antifa
like,
is not an organization. It's like just a loose knit group of people.
Yeah,
you're a cult. You're a self-imposed cult, and I truly believe this. I was part of this. I know this might be a bit hyperbolic, but it's actually what I think. We exhibit cultish behavior. But to your friend, like, I'm not trying to insult you at all.
Because someone else,
I don't think it's going to happen.
Because there's someone else here who just posted a comment that says, and this is even conspiracy as well, QAnon is controlled opposition. So it's a counter opposite of what my friend said, that QAnon is real, but QAnon was created by the government to throw you off, to see who the extremists may be.
Yeah, I get that. I've had these comments as well.
So the vid, do you think that's
Yeah.
real?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a real disease that is taking over the entire planet?
It's a real, yeah, man. It's a real life form that is
Pandemic?
actually going through and evolving, adapting, and it's a deadlier flu. It gives you a pneumonia. I believe in science. I'm not someone that rejects science.
Or what about Fauci, lying and giving us half truths and trying to make the people docile or give us a false sense of hope or a false sense of fear? Because I tell you, like at the very beginning, I was scared.
Yeah.
I was scared to death, dude. I don't wear a mask. Like I only wear them when I have to. And I haven't got it. Praise God, whatever that is. But at the beginning, I thought I was gonna die. I thought everyone was gonna die. I thought that mass segments of the population were the majority of us was gonna die. The way that they were saying it in the news,
Yeah.
every day, fear. There's trucks lining up. We can't. There's no way we can bury enough all the bodies that are gonna die from this. You can't go. I was scared, dude. Like, and I had to really hang on to my faith. I had to really not listen to it. I had to really pray and really get in close. But that's not the case. Not the way. And people say, well, they're learning. They thought it was that way. Now it's a little bit more it's manageable. They thought we were, and for me, it's like, hold on, that's,
But we're like the question I'd like to ask you is, was you scared because of what the media was saying, or was you scared because of all the media that you've consumed over the years? Like, have you watched like Contagion and all the zombie movies and all different things like that you're scared of an actual pathogen actually coming and happening?
Yeah, because it made it seem real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It made whatever and I don't think those movies really came into play. They could have somewhere in the background of your psyche. But the fact that we interrupt this alert to tell you, do not hug your grandmother. Stay away from your grandmother. 14 days of isolation. Listen, they shut down the world, bro. They shut down the world. We've lost businesses. I have friends who died in the hospitals by themselves. Not friends, family members that nobody can go see them. They died alone because of this, and it's
terrible, man. It's terrible.
Yeah, but I don't think it's what they said it was. As far as at least as it's definitely 1,000% not as deadly as they. What I don't know what it is, but it's not what they said it was. Everyone knows that. Go to any local bar room right now. Go to the beach. Dude, people are. I just got on 5 planes. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody. Oh, it's because people are starting to get vaccinated. It's because of and I don't even want to talk about. I told you before we went live, like I don't even want to talk about it, but it's just I guess we did, but
it goes there because it's conspiracy theories, man. We got to talk about the conspiracy theories, and like when it comes to this, what's happening right now, I don't care if you believe in it or not. That's up to you. But keep it to yourself and let other people make up their minds about it, really, because this, I think it's real. And I think vulnerable people need to get vaccinated. I'm not I'm not scared of the vaccine. I've had 1 shot. I'm ready for the next. I should be getting one in the next couple of weeks. But something I also want to point out is I'm from England. I don't have to deal with the terrible American media. Like, I know how crazy and hyperbolic and sensational your media can be. Like, ours isn't quite like that. And I get to see a lot of what goes on in Europe and what goes on a lot in the rest of the world. So when it comes to like you asking me about Fauci, man, I don't know what Fauci said day to day. I didn't have to listen to him. I got to listen to Chris Whitty and Patrick Vallance in England, and both of those guys seemed absolutely cool. I trust Chris Whitty, totally 100% trust that man. And you guys probably don't even know who he is.
Mm-mm.
But he
I would assume
he's our Fauci.
My mind with the conspiracy of a global elite is that they're replicas. You ever watch The Simpsons? And because The Simpsons got a lot of conspiracy in it, right? But if you in The Simpsons, like when they go to the next city over called Shelbyville, there's like someone who looks just like Bart Simpson. His name may be Art Crimson, right? There's somebody who looks just like Homer. He works at a very similar job. There's like a doppelganger of these people. In my mind, in our different countries, like you have someone who is like this person, you have someone like that. So in my mind, there was somebody who was like Fauci. If you guys weren't consuming Fauci, you were listening to someone like him.
Yeah, Chris.
Maybe that's wrong. I don't know. Maybe that's
no. That is right. That's 100% right. Like you had Trump and we've got Boris. That is basically the same person with a worse haircut.
Boris. So is that the guy who was in the documentary that I'm thinking of?
Probably, yeah.
Because it sounds like
Prime Minister, Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they both Trump and Boris had the same companies working for them, like Cambridge Analytica and people like that. What's that on Netflix? Is it called Hacked?
I'm trying to see. It was really interesting. But I felt like it was something that happened. They were trying to find out someone who was making bombs or whatever. Somebody who did a bunch of bombs and stuff. But it was, I thought his name.
The nail bomber. The nail bomber that you were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy
he was like far right conspiracy theories about like the trans agenda and all that type of stuff as well, way back. And that was like in the 90s. That guy's from, or late 90s.
Yeah, and it was the like I said, Trump. For me, watching it, it was like a spitting image of Trump. The things that they were saying, but everything is though. It's one thing that like it's not a conspiracy theory. I don't think it's observation. I've been in cults, right? You've been in a cult, essentially. I was in the Hebrew Israelites for some time. Maybe you got into some of that. I know you knew me when I was into a lot of that. But Black Hebrew Israelites, and they had a way to move a crowd. They knew things to scare you, and it was kind of like Order Ab K. It's chaos. Listen, they're coming for you, but follow us because we have read the scriptures and we know the way out. And that was literally their stuff and their tactics, things they said, what they looked like. And then I left that for different reasons, and I started researching other cults, like even like Jim Jones, and like these leaders were saying the same things that these other cult leaders would say in mannerisms to win people over, to scare you, but then to offer you hope in the same breath. I mean that's what the government's doing that too. I'm going to scare you, but listen, we got a hope. There is a hope if you listen and follow us. Like you start recognizing patterns.
Yeah, these cults, I wouldn't even say that they give you hope. They literally scare you and then empower you.
Yeah.
At the same time, or save you. And that's exactly. You can't tell me that wasn't like Alex Jones and David Icke and Jordan Maxwell and William Cooper and Fritz Springmeier and all these other people were basically the same. Don't trust the mainstream media. They have an agenda. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's just they are cult leaders, and we just like we jumped into it. And now this Q guy is like literally like an anonymous cult leader. No one even knows who he really is. Yeah. Or if it's a she or anything.
Yeah. It is so strange, dude. It is so strange. If anybody wants to challenge or ask a question, because people are like, what about this? What about that? What about the Illuminati card game? What about this? What about that? If anybody wants to ask a question, I'm posting the Zoom link in the comments, and we're not debating, but if anybody has a question or a comment that myself or Brent should look into as proof, or why we should follow QAnon, or why we should, blatantly call out the transgender people in society or movement. I believe a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I really do. Do I talk about it? No. And that's the reason why, because I know the crazies. I know.
Right, man.
I even look at it like the secret societies. Secret societies are real, right? Masons are real. Yeah. Like mystery schools are real. There's rites and levels of initiation, because they guard information, sacred information. And I feel like, even not that stuff is sacred because it's so out there in the blatant, but people take it and run with it, and they use it to their own detriment. Like, I feel like what I felt like over the years, like almost like a graduation, that I believe in a devil. I believe in evil, that evil exists out there somewhere, even if it's in the lower realms of the consciousness of the people, personified as this ugly thing. I don't know what it is, but I know evil exists. And once you know that, I quit. At first I was like, wow, they did what? They did what? They blew up a building. They did. They hired a guy in Las Vegas to shoot a bunch of people, and it was really a CIA operative shooting people. Like for me, not that any of that's valid, but it's the idea of that. Listen, evil exists, and you can't like shock me anymore. Because I know that there's a lot of evil stuff happening, even stuff that we haven't even uncovered yet. We get into the baby stuff. I'm reading comments. People are talking about the babies. Save the babies. The babies. They're and it gets crazy. They're putting babies in. If you buy furniture from Wayfair,
Wayfair, yeah,
there's a baby in it.
I'm very familiar.
And I'm like, and I told people, I was like,
eye.
listen, if you believe this, let's pool our money. Let's save these babies. Let's buy one. They're too much. They kept coming up with excuses. They're too much money. No. Listen. If you can save the life of a child, max your fucking credit card out. Max your. How much is a life worth to you? Not 13,000. It's not. Listen, how much is a life? Let's all pool our money. Let's buy these welfare furnitures that have babies hidden in them, and let's set them free. And then we'll know. And then they said, well, we don't have enough money. Then someone said, well, if we did buy it, they'll get us for trafficking because we bought one. We didn't know. we just bought an end table.
This is what I mean. It is a constant move in the goalpost, constant like changing.
You're right.
These things to make make your whole thing fit. And okay, like just for example, did you see about the recent let me say an American soccer player that collapsed at the Euro Cups, and within minutes the conspiracy theories are going around about that he had the thing
COVID.
We'll call it Jeff.
Yeah.
We'll call it Jeff, shall we?
Yeah.
He had that, and that he had his jab, like 3 weeks ago or something like that. And it went round and went round and went round. And basically, that everyone was acting like he's had a heart attack because of this, because of that, because of what's going on right now. It's the jab. At that, they're not safe. A few hours later, the Inter Milan director, the soccer club that he plays for, released a statement saying from their medical person, he's never had COVID and he's never had the jab. He's like, in Europe, all of Europe, we're waiting by age to take it. I'm sure in America, you've got different procedures in different states, haven't you? Like different people can get it at different times, but in all of Europe, pretty much, we're all doing it in age stages. And right now we're at the point where it's like, I think 30-year-olds are getting there first. So anyway, They came out, said that he never had it. I was arguing, or not arguing, talking with somebody on Facebook the other day about this. And I said, look, they were posting a meme about it. And I said, look, this meme is incorrect.
Oh, yeah. The meme.
And she said, yeah. And she said, how is it incorrect? I gave her the information, and she basically just acted like, well, the football manager is in on it.
Yeah.
So now we got the Inter Milan football manager as part of the global grand conspiracy. Just because I told her the truth, she didn't like the truth. She had to make something else fit. Move the goalposts again. Let's have someone else involved. And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. And this is where, to me, it all fell apart.
We live in a weird world, man. I will say that.
We're weird people, man.
We are.
Humans are strange.
So there's people wanting to come in for the chat, and we're going to bring you guys here. Sierra, I see you. We're going to bring you guys in the chat here on Zoom in a minute. And if you want to ask a question, go ahead and jump in. I will say that when we do bring you in and unmute you, make sure that you pause your YouTube video just so there's not a feedback and a loop that you hear us on Zoom. So we're going to bring you guys in. I'm posting the link there in the comment sections on the different places that you're reading. So for, against, what if, let's talk about it today. Again, with the guy who fell out, who got hurt, like, they tried to say the same thing with DMX. Yeah. DMX, a belligerent drug abuser, a hero to us all, but very much struggled.
An addict,
very much struggled with many addictions, and so he passes, has a heart attack, essentially, OD, and the conspiracy guys jumped on it real quick, saying that he just had his COVID shot.
Yeah. Everything and that's something to do with the conspiracy.
It's all over the place. Nobody can die anymore. That's one thing that got me too. Like the same thing happened with Pimp C, that from the group UGK, Underground Kings out of Texas, sipping syrup and all that. They're known for sipping syrup. They're known for taking uppers and downers and mixing them. Yeah. Guess how you have a heart attack? Take an upper and drink lean and snort coke. See what happens.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a heart attack. So Pimp C dies, and immediately the government took him out, man. The government took him out because he was trying to take the money out of it, and they find something noble that they were doing. I'm sure Nipsey Hussle started, you know what I'm saying, an entrepreneur within his own community, trying to bring money to his hood, trying to empower people. And I'm sure they say that this guy who killed him is nobody. Michael Jackson.
They Michael did start. Jackson. I watched it when Nipsey Hussle was murdered. I got the notification about when it happened, and I'm watching all the live stuff, and it's just going around straight away. Oh, it's because he was talking out against the government. It's because he was trying to empower black people. It's because he was trying to do this.
And they'll find like one lyric in his song where he was like, "Stand up for the people and rise against the government." He might have said it one time. Yeah. And they're like, "See, he said it."
He was going to have a meeting the week after with the sheriff of LA. Yeah. And they were going to talk about gang culture. Yeah. Yeah. That's what he was trying to do. He's trying to make like life better for people in LA. Like that's what he was doing. Yeah. It's not everything's a conspiracy. But with the movement, everything's a conspiracy. Mm-hmm. Everything's connected. And after like I'm 18 years after now. Like after 15 years or so, it all started falling apart, man. I couldn't keep any of it together. At least the connections. I still believe in corruption. I still believe that any kind of conspiracy that's going on between people is there to make money and to get a little bit of power. But I can't put a global network together, man. It's just not, to me. I can't see it working.
You mentioned the memes and stuff too that came out. There was a meme that my friends are sharing, and listen, and people are gonna laugh at me right now. I love Snopes. Snopes has saved my ass.
Yeah.
There was a meme that came out recently of a picture of like an Egyptian sticking this long stick up someone's nose, and it was from Egypt. It was like cave art looking art, and in the comment, in the meme, it says this was a torture device for slaves that misbehaved, and then they would stick this tube up their nose, and it would bust the blood-brain barrier between the brain and the nose, so that you would be more prone to disease, that you would get sick, and that you would eventually die. So slaves who got out of line and misbehaved, they want to keep you sick and docile so you won't have strength to fight against your government. You won't have strength to escape. I told my wife, and my wife's like, you want your slaves strong. Like, you want them to be hard workers. You want them to be able to lift heavy stuff. You don't want to, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's like, logically, it didn't make sense. I had to Google it, had to go to Snopes, and it says, and if you look close, and it looks like he's sticking it up the nose. It was an eye procedure. It was an eye procedure. It wasn't even going up the nose. It was going into the eye. Yeah. And it was an ancient Egyptian eye procedure that would fix cataracts or something. And it was like, oh my God, somebody screenshotted that, made up a weird narrative, and now everyone is sharing it.
Yeah.
Another friend of mine, good friend of mine, used to call me out when I was a conspiracy theorist back in 2008, 9, 10. You're just living in fear, man. I said, no, the government, man, George Bush is this. They used to call me out, used to make fun of me, and the devil stole your peace, because I was all in it. He's sending me videos now of a dude that sounds like Bill Gates giving this seminar on how we'll be able to do brain scans and tell who the people are who like won't take the chip, or who are religious, because the religious people are the ones who aren't gonna take the vaccine or the chip for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like the RFID, if that comes out, or even the vaccine, the religious people aren't doing it. So there's a scan that can tell how religious you are, and you lack something, so they're going to have to eliminate those people, because they're not gonna, and it's in their genes, it's in their children, and all of that. He sent me this video, and I'm watching. I was like, wow, this is legit. It's like a press conference, and Bill Gates is like talking about this, and then I just happened to go to Snopes, and it showed me the damn movie that it came from.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
it was a movie clip. It was like, it showed me the damn movie. I'm like, man, you don't get out of here with all this. I'm through with it, dude. I'm through with it. Listen, we have somebody here on hold. So I think Sierra is with us now. At least it says Sierra on Zoom. Are you with us, my friend? There's the outro. Sierra, what's up? Taylor. I know who that is. He's ready, man. Look, Taylor is ready, man. What's up, brother? Hold on.
I can neither confirm nor deny. That's all I'm going to say to him. If he's ready for me.
Yeah, I'm sure he just got some questions. Taylor, what's up, brother? Welcome. Can you hear us? Uh-oh, we can't hear you. See if you can unmute yourself.
Hello?
Gotcha.
Oh, my name. Oh, no, it's my niece's name.
Okay.
That's my niece. What's up? I've been a fan of yours for a long time, man.
Who, me? Me, TruthSeekah?
I guess since the topic is conspiracies, yeah, I could hear you. Can you hear me? Oh,
yeah. Just make sure that YouTube is muted and you're listening on Zoom. Technology.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Great.
I said I've been a fan of yours for a long time, TruthSeekah. I love your music, man.
Hey, I love you, man.
I consider myself more of a conspiracy realist. than a theorist because I've seen enough to know that 9/11 was an inside job. I mean, you got to think, like, the ultimate goal is it's not going to be happen in one phase. They'll do it over decades or whatever it takes to achieve their goal. But what's his name? George H. Bush talked about the New World Order on live TV in Congress, I think, right? And a lot of things. So there's a lot more truth to a lot of, to conspiracy that a lot of people like to admit, like the Tuskegee experiments, where they injected black people with syphilis, right? Or you can get into any number of conspiracies, MK Ultra, government mind control. You know what I'm saying? I don't say just accept anything at face value. Do your own research, because there is like bat poop crazy conspiracy theories. You know what I'm saying? But there is legitimate conspiracies, especially perpetrated by people in powerful positions, like in the FBI and DOJ and all of them. They want us, like, I know like the far right, like people like to focus on the far right, right? But why just focus on the far right? There's lunatics on the far left too. You know, there's lunatics on fringes, a lot of things. I don't know, that's just my take.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? Brent, what would you say? And Brent's saying, listen, study this stuff out. Don't just believe anything. And if you come to a conclusion that you wholeheartedly believe, I think you need to be able to prove it. And there's a lot of stuff, Brent, like he just mentioned, you know, George Bush talking about a new world order is what we need. You know, what do you think about that clip?
Sorry, what was his name? Taylor?
Yeah, Taylor.
Yeah. Hey, Taylor. Very nice to speak to you, man. There isn't a single thing that you just said that I didn't believe. I used to believe all of those things that you were just talking about. I used to think all of those things were actually connected. Now, not going to say that those things didn't happen, because yes, they did happen. We do know, but we know all about Tuskegee. We know that people weren't given treatment and were allowed to die because of it. We know plenty of conspiracies that have happened. But if we want to talk about what you just brought up, TruthSeekah, George H. Bush, no, it's George H.W. Bush, isn't it? The dad. He mentioned the New World Order, and he isn't the only person to ever mention the New World Order, because it was a very popular term back then. Now, when I was really deep into this, when I was very, very, very involved, I heard this excuse about it, and I completely rejected it. And I thought, oh, they're just making this up. But the truth, what I heard, and it is actually the truth, is what New World Order, that term, meant to those people, what to the whole world, basically, what it actually meant. And that did mean the world post the Cold War, when there was no longer a communism in the world anymore, and that it was practically the entire world was run through capitalism. That's what they were referring to as the New World Order, because it would be a brand new order of the world. There would only be one superpower now.
But
that's what it was in the 90s.
I also think there's a more sinister agenda to eventually implement a one world governance type of situation. That's what China and a lot of different world leaders are talking about. I mean, it's not a conspiracy. The Great Reset, for example, they try to say it's a conspiracy theory, but you can look it right up. You can look it right up on the World Economic Forum, where they talk about all this stuff. I'm not trying to say like go harass people, like hurt people. I just see the conspiracy realities that are actually happening, that you can actually look up, that you can see. I mean, there's documented conspiracies all throughout all kinds of governments' histories. I mainly focus on the United States history because that's my country.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, like, probably the United Kingdom probably has its own conspiracies, you know, like about the Queen and the royal family and a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's plenty of theories, and like I just want to get away from the word conspiracy, to be honest, because I think a lot of it is corruption. That's where I'd like to really focus my energies, really. getting away from this weird term of conspiracy theory and actually expose the real corruption that's been going on with my country. There's the corruption runs deep, just like it does in America. I do understand. I do have a bit of a background with American politics. Like I said, my stepdad was in the military. I grew up around the U.S. Air Force my entire life. You know, when I was 16, 17, I came back to England and I live here in England now. So I'm really, really interested and really involved in American politics, but just not everything. Yeah, but all I'd say, man, is like, I just really think a lot of it boils down to corruption. It's corrupt individuals trying to get one over in each other. But I honestly don't think that a lot of these people are working together for the same thing. A lot of these people absolutely hate each other and want to destroy
some of them do, I
other.
think. But I disagree with you on the premise that they're not working together, because the elite are class conscious while they divide the peasants, right? On racial lines, whatever it is, political lines, gender lines, they're trying to divide us on every level. To me,
that's
I would say
politicians for you. The politicians will try and divide. It's divide and conquer, isn't it?
But like, look at Epstein, for example. I mean, that's like a textbook conspiracy right there. How did he get assassinated in a maximum security prison with people watching him, right? Because he knew so much stuff. I mean, there's a possibility he might not even be dead. I cannot confirm that, though. I can't say that for as a matter of fact. He could be dead. They could have took him out, or he could be alive. They could have faked his death.
Okay.
Who knows?
What I would say about this, about the Epstein thing, and what I'm trying to get at, really, through this whole message, which I'm trying to say, is you can question that. You can question whether or not he was killed or he committed suicide or something happened. But you have to stop there. You can't then say, oh, it was done because of this and it was this person who done it. Or if you can't prove that stuff, you shouldn't be sharing that stuff.
Well, the fact is, you can look at all the people connected to Epstein, like Bill Gates, who's also invested in the World Health Organization, who also wants depopulation. I could get far into this, dude. Like, there is knowing there's a cabal, but wait,
Epstein though, mate.
But knowing there is a cabal doesn't make you a terrorist and extremist. That's why I think you have a false premise.
No. I've said from the get-go, man. I don't think you are dangerous. I think these ideas are dangerous. I think when they're in the wrong hands, they're very dangerous. When they were in the hands of us, maybe it's a little bit of fun. But
I think you could be right. It could be dangerous, like to somebody who's mentally ill, could try to go take out innocent people over something like this. But I don't think most people are like that, you know?
But I agree. Most people aren't. But the movement is getting bigger and bigger, and it keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
Every time there's a world event, every time there's a big trauma that we all go through, these conspiracies get a brand new following. They get a lot bigger every time. And I know, like, the usual conspiracy theorist kind of retort to that is because, well, people are more awake than after it. It's like there's always going to be something that people will say, but we look at the studies of history about psychology. There are booms in society every time something like this happens. But I really appreciate your lining of questioning. It was great. Thank you.
I know there's conspiracies though that I know to me are BS. Like, I know there's, like, I watch ODD TV and I love his content, but there's things I don't agree with him on, like Flat Earth thing. I don't agree with the Flat
Earth did it for a lot of people.
Yeah. that was like kind of a nail in a coffin. I mean, I think ODD.
It's fun though. Flat Earth is fun.
ODD was the very last person I posted on Truth Music Directory. On the website that I used to run, like, you know what that is, TruthSeekah. But he was the very last person because I was done with it. I was done with it after that.
Well, I mean, I'm not done with looking into deeper truths and conspiracies. And I do think there's an elitist cabal, like the people who control the Federal Reserve and world banks and stuff like that. I wouldn't necessarily blame it on an entire group of people, because I think there's other factors and other people involved too, you know?
What
It
would you
just
say,
gets
Brent? Let me ask you this, Brent. So like, Joe Rogan, I think Joe Rogan, for the most part, now he's starting to open up or whatever, but he would say stuff like, it's just evil people. It's just evolution kind of thing. What would you say to stuff like the whether it's like an agenda for like the homosexual agenda, transgender agenda, mainstream music agenda? Like, can these things be easily explained, or
You
is
forgot your
this
hat. Sorry.
something like music that sells, like the mainstream,
Yeah.
like you know what I'm saying, dumbing down? Obviously that music would sell more than me talking about opening your third eye and those kind of things. What do you think about those kind of like cultural, what we're trying to, and people would say an agenda like that, like the homosexual agenda or something, would be for depopulation. They would also tie that in with abortion, right? We need to, there's this, Georgia Guidestones, and trust me, I just been on 5 airplanes, and there's so much land that nobody's on. We was in the middle of we had to drive hours and hours and hours and fly hours to even see another soul. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that whole depopulation thing, what about all of that, those kind of agendas and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like Agenda 21, depopulation, all that kind of stuff. I just don't. None of it's happened. None of it's happened. I just don't see it. It's not going to happen. The stuff that you mentioned, like culture kind of things, like that's such an old conspiracy theory. Like that they're the degenerates are trying to influence all of music and arts and culture and turn them all over to the other side, or like there's different spins on it, because you can go, they want to turn them to lefties, or they want to turn them to communists, or there's the Christian version, they want to turn them into Satanists, they want to turn them away from God. It's always the same sort of thing. I kind of, it surprises me how many of the bad conspiracy theory kind of stuff like that attacks people, the people like us, you, me, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your friends, your co-workers. Those are the people that we're going to attack. It feels like we should be the ones, like, if we work together, we got the power. We can actually take the politicians down, because we can actually use our vote. We can actually do praxis, get involved in local politics, and actually make sure that my actual street out front, it gets cleaned. Like, you can actually get involved.
Mm-hmm. We got another person coming on. This is Miss Bliss. Might take her a second to get her mic and audio on. You're with us, Miss Bliss. How are you, Anissa? It says you're muted and your mics.
I'm just here to listen. I had a question, but it can wait.
No, go ahead. What's your question?
Well, I haven't really formulated it yet. I'm gonna keep listening.
Okay. You could just unmute yourself.
There's a lot going on in my head right now. You guys are, my head's spinning.
well, let me ask you a question. What is your relationship with conspiracy theories, and has it been positive? Has it been intriguing? Has it been scary? Have you had to quit thinking about or watching certain news channels or YouTubers and stuff?
Yeah, well, I'm on a fast right now. My knee-jerk reaction was to automatically just send this to Facebook. But the Lord has me on a fast right now, and He just has some stuff to show me this week. And I haven't checked out your channel in a while, so I am still doing YouTube, but I'm not doing my videos right now. And just with everything going on in our family life and different polarization going on, I think I started talking about it in the chat, but just whether you're a believer in a pandemic or whatever the case may be, I'm not saying I know or I have any idea what's going on these days with all the craziness, but there's just certain things that the Lord is speaking to me pretty strongly about. Like for me, he just didn't want me to take the vaccine, you know, and I'm like the only one I know who's, you know, not on it or whatever.
There's also me. I refuse to take it.
Who?
Me.
Oh, I can't.
Taylor.
Well, could I jump in? Could I say something quickly?
Yeah, jump
Like,
in. I'm just
no, I totally get where you're coming from. Look,
but I don't think it's that. I think God is bigger than Bill Gates. So
yeah.
Like,
Exactly. If God's putting it on your heart, God's
Yeah.
putting it on your heart that you shouldn't take it, then maybe there's a reason that you shouldn't take it.
Yeah.
There are risks involved in taking any type of medication.
Yeah.
I can't deny that. Like that, we all
I'm just
know
not
this.
afraid of it. He didn't give me
Yeah,
the spirit
but
of fear.
if you're getting that message,
Yeah.
I'd listen to it. Whatever God tells me to do, I could go along with it too. You know, if He puts it on my heart, I should do this.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to try my hardest to do that. If I don't, then I don't. But I ain't got a problem with that.
Thank you, Brent.
Yeah, that kind of gets into those things where, and probably we can definitely tie that into conspiracy theories, but for me, it comes from the religious understanding of what God has put on my heart, I've got to put on your heart. You know, of usually it's like a personal feeling, a personal thing that I need to do. And I've seen it come along in the years of, I need to quit listening to music, like a certain type of music. God said, don't listen to Christian rap because it's of the flesh. God says, don't eat pork anymore because the Jews don't eat pork, you know, and these different truths that you uncover and you really resonate with them so much so that you say, God told you, and then we start forcing that on other people. And maybe even to tie that in with the conspiracies, it's like you're tying, you're connecting dots that you see that may not even really be there. How many of us are guilty of that? And a lot of conspiracy theories are like that, connecting dots that aren't there, and then we begin to see it in the real world, in our reality. You know, only us. We're the only ones that see it.
Yeah, that's super tough. Yeah.
I was gonna say. Oh.
No.
Sorry, I was just trying to say something.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if anything, God has shown me, like, because I was in a really bad place in 2020, like the news, and I thought everybody was gonna die, and like I thought I was gonna die, honestly, because I did get sick and a lot of stuff. I think God saved my life, honestly, and I'm thankful to God every day for that. If anything, God's shown me to break free from fear-based reality, so you can focus on conspiracies, get really paranoid, because I've been watching conspiracies for real, and then the 2020 thing happens, that just like makes it worse. You know?
Yeah. And God, the thing about it is, like, God forbid, let's just say that they're all real. Just everyone that you ever read or watched, just say that they're all real. Again, what are you going to do about it?
That's right.
And in our minds, we're going to overthrow the government. In our minds, we're going to, show everybody that Michelle Obama's a man. Well, you're going to run up on stage. You know, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I don't even care about it. Like,
exactly. You're not going to do anything. And what it's doing, it's, for me, and people think this is you're putting your head in the sand. When I talk about God in my podcast, like, I felt strong before all of this happened. Before all this happened, I went back and I have videos and I said, hey guys, and I pretty much did a snippet or an episode of this, what we're talking about now. Hey, conspiracy theories are dangerous. Be careful. And I had no idea what was coming, but I knew that, hey, be careful. I have to look at what it did to me, what it's done to my friends who are still, I got friends who are scared to death to pay taxes because they think that God is going to judge them with hellfire because their tax money is going to fund abortions. So they're scared. They're like in tears and tax evasion and not just that taxation is theft, but that they are funding abortions, and so God is going to punish them. Like it gets real deep. It gets real weird, right?
Yeah.
So early on, I was like, I did a video, stay away from it. It's dangerous. And the scripture says if there's anything pure, if there's anything noble, if there be anything of virtuous, think about these things. And let's say that even if all conspiracy theories are true, none of them are virtuous. None of them are positive. None of them will, it actually goes against what the scripture says to think about, to fill your mind with and to dwell upon and to meditate. It says to meditate upon my precepts, meditate upon my word. It's going to help you. It's going to add to your life. It's going to give you peace. And listen, the world's going to hell. This place is a disaster. But in the midst of that, you can walk in peace. You can walk in wholeness. You can walk in peace of mind. People are free. I say that because people are freaking out. I'm not prophesying the world going to hell. People are freaking out right now. How can you, in the midst of this place of people freaking out, maintain a perfect peace? Because you should be freaking out, man. Nah, I'm good, bro.
I feel like God
every
is
day's a
protecting
blessing
us.
to me. I should have been dead a long time ago.
Yep.
Every breath of air
too.
I breathe is a blessing. Thank you.
Amen.
You
Thank
change the way that you look at things, and then the things that you look at will change. That's
They
my
do.
philosophy. It's helped me. I was scared, dude. I wouldn't speak on it. I wouldn't watch the documentaries. Have you seen it? I know they're out there.
Yeah, those
I
are
watched them leading up to this. Me and Brent, and I'm sure you too, Taylor, have watched them in 2008, 2006. Like, we know how scary they are. They're scary as hell. They're like, fear sells. There's a reason we like to go watch horror movies and go on roller coaster rides that scare you. Oh my God, I survived it.
We love the thrill.
Right? We love the thrill. We want to feel alive, man. It's part of the conspiracy stuff for sure.
I
Go ahead,
know
Miss.
one thing. I know one thing. I believe in the divine protection of God. So anything the elite have planned, I think God is protecting us against them. And I know what you're saying is true, because getting in the Bible and like focusing on God helped me get out of that fear that I was feeling, and it like freed me.
Yeah.
I guess in a way.
Yeah.
Lord, simple as the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. I just love Psalm 23 and speaking it over my life and my family, because this stuff can get to your head. I too was a conspiracy nut back in the day. I used to even protest, and since 9/11, I got really gung-ho crazy into it. And the Lord showed me, I think it was about 5 years later into it, slowly, I started waking up to realizing I was getting into I don't want to use the word anarchy, because that word has been misused so frequently, but because actually anarchy is a good thing. But that's a whole thing. But anyway, what I was trying to drive closer to was more of the anger based though side of. So yes, I would say anarchy, but angry anarchy instead of peaceful anarchy, where
like what we're seeing now.
We are above all of that. All this is under our feet because we're co-buried, we're co-crucified with Jesus. So we essentially have Jesus in our bellies, living waters flowing from us constantly, like that joy that bubbles up. That's not from us. That's nothing I did. I didn't get even an example of say you're a drinker or a smoker, you would understand the word high. I get high on God by walking outside. Like, you don't have to do anything. And to me, that was just so liberating. Recently, he's showing me it again because I started getting scared for people that do take the vax, because I watched a lot of conspiracy stuff about it, and I started letting myself believe it. But as soon as I started letting myself believe it, and whether or not it's true or not, I don't think that's the point I'm trying to make. Jesus would always give me this piece of but don't you remember I'm above all this? Whatever if it is a conspiracy, if they're sticking toxic stuff in there, well, you know what? Jesus is more powerful than the enemy, right?
Yeah.
So,
and also too, with us speaking about that, a lot of people have already taken it, and guess what? They can't untake it.
Yeah.
So anything that you do from here on out to that person, not to the person who hasn't taken it, but for the person who already has taken it, that's fear, guilt, shame, and condemnation. They can't untake it, right? So
like,
for you to say, you're gonna
word.
die if you take it, and these people have already taken it, you're putting guilt, shame, and condemnation on those people for you to keep.
It's like the hell doctrine, the fear of hell. Oh, you're gonna burn in hell. It's the same darn thing. We're doing it all over. Deceptions.
I try not to belittle, to make fun of, or poke, or even talk about stuff that people can't change. And that's why the government thing, and maybe I'm docile for that. Maybe my head is in the sand. I don't think that I can.
But God can change
it. God, yeah, all things are possible. You know what I'm saying? But as far as me, and I'm going to do a podcast and tell you all about the wiles of the government, you know. But but they think if you tell enough people, then the more people that know, the more people that wake up, they can change, right?
Yeah, no, it's a iffy. I'm not sure what to do with it. I just let Holy Spirit, discern. At one point I was thinking of like doing a channel and letting people know about all this stuff, but then I'm like, no way, I'm not doing because then there's a lot of lies. It's all mixed together.
Yeah. Well, even if there is truths in it, and I know you, and I know your calling and your anointing, like even if there is truths, plural, there's a lot of truths in it. There's a lot of truths, a lot of disinfo, a lot of opinion. There's truths, plural, but you're anointed to speak the truth. And the truth is that of the kingdom of heaven, that is now, that is peace, that is love, that is joy, that is righteousness. That you speak on the truth, and nothing can take that away or change that truth. And so you're forever blessed on that. Brent's only got a few minutes left with us. Man, Brent, what do you want? Do you want to talk about anything? Do you want to warn again? What even this conversation that we're having? People would say the same thing about us, even with religion, how we're finding this peace in religion, a piece of something that is imaginary. You can't prove it. Why would you even religion is a myth that you believe, and it's a conspiracy, right? So the same kind of doubt that someone would have towards a conspiracy theory that can't be proven, a religion that, hey, we weren't there. I wasn't there when they hung him on the cross. I wasn't there when Noah built the ark, these kind of things. What would you say just to that whole conversation when it comes to religion as well?
Well, what I would say is there's a difference between this conspiracy that I've been talking about is mainly a political thing. And I think politics and religion should stay separate. A religion should be your own personal journey. What my religion should not be influencing anyone else, only through my acts. If I do good things, what I really want to do is I follow Jesus, I follow Yeshua. What I'm going to be working on is the politics of Jesus, what he would be doing today in the world to change it, to change the world today what it is, that I want to really bring it back to those red words in the Bible. Take every single other thing out. I just want the words of Jesus.
What about the Old Testament?
All of it gone. This is not what I'm talking about. The politics of Jesus. That's what I want to get into. And the words of Jesus are the words that are in red. So that's something I'm gonna get into in my channel.
Tell me about your channel again. And are you a writer? It sounds like you're going to write something. Am I right or not? Am I totally off?
No, I'll be doing videos. I'll be doing videos and streaming.
Oh, okay.
You're doing gaming right now a little bit, huh, Brent?
Yeah. And a bit of a hobby, just messing around, doing a bit of gaming. I'm going to do some gaming during the week, and then I want to get to the point where I'm doing some longer streams on the weekend. Bringing people in, having chats about this kind of stuff.
Let me. I got something from you a long time ago, and I don't know if this was real or even if I read it wrong. But there was an old picture when I got into ufology, and it was really an angel thing for me. It was the Bible. It was a lot of just stars and angels that travel back and forth in the sky, and I would be visited, and I had crazy experiences, right? And I seen a picture of you. and it looked like you were with a group or something, but everybody was posing, and you were looking up in the picture. And for some reason, when I seen that, I was like, oh man, he knows what's up, man. He's one of us. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Bro, hold on. I think I know what you're talking about.
There was a picture. It's almost like a band or something, and you were just like looking off in the sky, and I was like, and I think I might have had done that in some pictures after the fact or something. I was like, yeah, man, Brent knows what's up, dude. He knows about the ELO and ufology and stuff.
I have a question. I've had kind of this theory since I was like a teenager because I was really interested in it. I have a theory that the Elohim are like ancient spacefaring human beings. I'm open to that possibility. I thought it was an interesting concept because I remember watching people talk about the Elohim. But it's like has multiple meanings, like it's plural. It could be like not just humans too, I guess. I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is an interesting take. And I've been thinking about that a little bit lately too. But are you looking for the picture, Brent? Are you on MySpace?
Oh, where we at? Okay, here we are. This is it. Nah, it's gone. It's gone, bro. Sorry, I ain't got it.
But yeah, what about that?
I'm sat on a rock and I'm like staring up, looking at
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all dressed all in white.
Yeah.
Got my crucifix out. Yeah.
Was that did that have to do with looking for the angels or UFOs or anything?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like I'm not looking
to the things of this world.
Material. I was looking up,
Nice. I knew it was because I was like, yeah, I identified that.
Yeah, man. We came from the same sort of era, We both, like I said, we were friends on MySpace.
Yeah. So
sharing each other's music and all that back then. We have definitely had a similar kind of message. We both kind of we were both Christians, but both also seeming like we had felt like we weren't Christians, but from the community, maybe because of some of the things that we used to get into. Like, I know you had a struggle with listening to the type of music that you listen to, or people would I know like some fans would be like, oh, you shouldn't be doing like the heavy metal.
Oh yeah, silly. I
remember
silly
like
stuff.
long times ago, like burning your CDs, your library and stuff. I remember all these different things, and I'm like, man, the communities are so purity testing all the time.
Yeah, well,
because I'm not a literal Bible follower. Like this from many years ago. I don't follow the Bible literal words. I like there wasn't a talking snake. Like it was the Nakash. It was a shining being turned up. It was an angel. It was a seraphim. It
could have been a demon.
It was the Nakash.
Look up the channel The Legends of History. It has a lot of interesting videos on like angels and biblical stories and stuff if you're interested in that. I think you might find it interesting if you're into like spirituality and religion.
Have you looked into have you seen any of Michael Heiser?
I've never heard of that guy.
Michael Heiser,
I love Michael
is
Heiser.
A fantastic researcher.
Yeah.
He will break down every single word for you. And like he's the one who called out Zechariah Sitchin and basically was saying dude's lying.
Sitchiniswrong.com.
Yeah. It was his break. First, I would not listen to Heiser. I was like, no, you can't be right. You're just trying to attack him. But I got really into like reading about Jesus. I was reading every single thing. I read the Quran because of him. I read absolutely anything that had anything to mention him. I was so guided into that, and it led me to learn about etymology and the roots of words and where they come from and translations. And I'm so deep into that. And I gotta recommend you check out Heiser. He will explain so much stuff.
Yeah, his big thing is the divine council of the Elohim, which here we are talking about the Elohim or the Elo. For me, I mean obviously the truth is somewhere in the middle, and I think the truth is somewhere in the middle of Heiser and Sitchin. Somewhere, obviously, there has to be some truth to it, right? Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Right, twice a day.
but who they are, slave race, that kind of thing, I don't really go with that. Anunnaki. I actually say one of my songs, I follow beings high above the Anunnaki. And when I mention that, I mention the Elo. But yeah, well, Brent, dude, let people know where to go to your channel, dude, and to check out your work and your music. If you still, do you even still promote your music? Do you have a different relationship with your old stuff? Like, because I remember when I was going through it, listen, I was like, none of my stuff about aliens and UFOs and Kundalini, like, don't listen to it. It's demonic. Stay away from it. Like, I was ashamed of it when I was going back and forth, you know?
Nah, it's to me, go and listen to my old stuff. I'm happy. It's a learning curve. It was a learning curve. I know, like, you can be wrong sometimes, you know, it's just admit it, just carry on. But since I fell out of the truth movement and kind of got away from the conspiracy theories, man, I didn't have nothing else to write about. I couldn't write. I haven't written a bar for years. I just can't. It wasn't until 13 days ago that I came public and started talking about this, because I just was so scared. I was so scared of, like, this massive decision that
you're losing friends, dude. Like, people that
so in it. You know, just like you know exactly how far
I call it scenes. And so, like, somebody broke this down. I need to get into it. I don't know much about it, but Marcus Aurelius has, like, some philosophy stuff, and he talked about the 3 different levels of friends that you have. And the first level of friends that you have is a friend because you guys share a common interest, and they become your friends or your acquaintances because we both love the lost children of Babylon. You know, we both go to church, man. We both go to church at Calvary Chapel, man. We love the Lord. Okay, well, what happens when you stop listening to the lost children of Babylon? What happens when not only do you stop going to Calvary Chapel, but you're not a Christian anymore? Guess what happens to those friends? I got friends who were into the drug scene. They were taking ecstasy every Friday and Saturday night. All kinds of friends, loving friends. I love you, bro. They would call each other even throughout the week and plan parties. I used to be in a Christian metal scene, and we do metal shows throughout the week, even on the weekends. And I'd see those same kids at those metal shows, and we'd hang out. We'd talk about bands. We'd go get pizza afterwards. Maybe we'd show up and play video games at somebody's house. But the moment you stop going to those shows, we even called it a scene. You got the metal scene, the drug scene, the church scene, the gay scene. You go to the gay bars. Hey, I'm not gay anymore. Oh, wow, you're not friends with us anymore. The moment that those aren't your real friends. You guys just share a common interest. So the moment you change that, you deviate, those people are gone. It's sad. It hurts so bad because you may even have more invested because you thought they were legit friends. These friends were friends of because they benefit off of you, because you fulfilled a need within them. Marcus Aurelius goes into deeper detail about that, but something interesting. You know, you're a truther. As long as you're talking about 9/11 and exposing the Illuminati. Oh, Brent don't even believe in Illuminati no more, man. They're calling you brainwashed. You are an agent. You know, you all kind of thing, and it's just how it happens, man.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to say, like, if you think me saying it's like being in a cult is just a hyperbolic statement, please add me on Facebook and please go through my newsfeed for the past 13 days, because some of the people
I'm reading them
is just.
And so I'm sure that a lot of those people came out of the woodwork that you haven't talked to in a long time. Because anytime you deviate,
I haven't been on there for years, for literal years. So
really?
2017
really
was the last time that
I know I hadn't seen you on
political
there
or conspiratorial. Everything from that point has been cute cats, cute dogs, and beats. That's literally all I posted for years now.
Yeah.
I think you're just trying to get away from, like, negativity, like negative thoughts, because, like you said, a lot of conspiracy theories are just negative, right?
Yeah,
like bad things, not good things.
Yeah. I'm just concerned with the dangerous ones, with ones that can cause harm in the world. I want to
anything can be dangerous. Anything.
No.
Brent,
Everything can, but not everything can. Like, at the end of the day, Jesus wants us to bring love into the world.
But there's still those people who would say Jesus wants us to sell our cloak and buy a sword and fight the New World Order.
Yeah,
you know that's there too, right?
Yeah.
So you have this same.
Do you because I don't feel like you're even saying that you're not a conspiracy theorist in the terms that there's so many, it's just like anarchists. There's so many different variables for different names. Like, what is a conspiracy theorist? Like, that is my question. Well, how would you define a conspiracy theorist, and what made you decide that you're not one anymore? Like, I'm just curious.
Well, yeah, I've kind of mentioned a few times in this that I really am I'm really talking about the Illuminati, New World Order, deep state conspiracy theory of a global cabal. That's the main thing that I'm talking about, that I am trying to say. It's not connected.
But there is a cabal, bro.
Okay, but no, let him talk.
I understand if you think.
I want to hear what he said.
I completely agree. I used to believe the same. I honestly used to believe the same. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I was wrong. Like,
I mean, I can respect people's different opinions, even if I disagree. I'm not going to put you down or say you're a bad person or anything, you know?
Yeah.
We could agree to disagree, you know?
Absolutely.
Fine as that?
Absolutely.
So it's not like you don't believe in any, like that you believe in conspiracies, but not all of them.
Yeah, I don't believe in the grand conspiracy.
Illuminati.
That whole thing. Completely I still am the exact same person, just without the tinfoil hat.
Yeah, right.
Just without the kookiness.
Well, that's what messed you up. You took the tinfoil hat off, and now you're being hit with these radioactive waves.
Dude, I had to take it off. I had the jab, didn't I? It was kind of like 5G was making me go crazy.
Have you heard
that with the?
They're definitely
now this isn't to throw shade or to make fun, but have you heard? You know who Carrie Cassidy is, right?
Yeah,
I believe she had Project Camelot.
Is that Project Camelot? Yeah.
And so I believe that she had a stroke, and but most of her face is drooping and stuff. She claimed she was hit with an energy weapon because she was releasing too much truth, that the government shot her with a laser and did that to her.
That sounds like arrogance. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but I would think if the Lord told her that, he probably wouldn't want her to say that to anyone. If that is true, like, benefit of the doubt, like if that's true, well, like, where's the fruit? What's that gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's not true, but
and I would just say it's likely
dangerous.
It's most likely a stroke.
Yeah,
that's all I'd say. Like, you
Unless
can think
you had
what you
proof.
want. Yeah, like, I can't prove it. I'm not the doctor.
Yeah.
I'm not there.
What do you think about
But I'm pretty, I'm gonna say, okay, yeah, that looks like a stroke. Like, I do have to go soon, guys.
All right, brother. Brent, man, thanks for coming on. And anytime you want to come on here, bro, let me know. Let's collab. Let's do whatever, man. I know you may not. I know you may not have any bars or anything about conspiracy research and all that, but you do have a lot of spiritual truth and a lot of life experience that you have to bring to the table, man. Put some of that stuff to poetry, man. Be a psalmist, get it out there. Your music's amazing, dude, and you've waken up a lot of people, and you have a voice. You still have a voice.
Yeah.
I tell you what, there's a scripture that really helped me, and this was, I guess, sin or really like coming to the end of who I am. But there's a scripture in Jeremiah that says that if you will repent and this is good, and utter worthy and not worthless words, I will use you for my mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Utter worthy, not worthless. I mean, this is the whole conversation we're having. Utter worthy words. What's more worthy than the letters in red? Kudos to what you're doing, bro. Thank you so much for coming on and hanging out, man. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, man. Just quickly, youtube.com/BrentLeeTV and Twitter, at BrentLeeTV. I've changed all my things to that. Add me on Facebook if you want to chat, whatever. I'm cool. But yeah, we'll definitely do this again.
Thanks for coming on, brother. Love you.
Yeah.
Shalom, shalom.
Much love, many blessings. Bye.
Blessings.
All right. See, that's the beautiful thing, is where what I am seeing, what I call Christ or God in, is the fact that people can have difference of opinions, whether they be spiritual, whether they be religious, or whatever, sports, like, and you can still come together and have a conversation. And but not everybody can, because even people who are really engulfed in the conspiracy movement, he's done. Brent is now an enemy.
Yeah,
Brent's an enemy to these people now.
That's terrible, though.
It is terrible.
I don't know if I call it a movement though, because there's so many different facets.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would be the same way with Christianity, though. You know what I'm saying? The moment you say, you know what, I believe God is in everything. I don't think God is just in our denomination or our religion. Then now you're an enemy to those people. Or the fact that you were in AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and you guys had a tight knit community, and then you see, you know what, I'm really okay with having a drink on the weekend. Like, you know, me and my wife cook out and have steak, and we drink wine. Yeah. And we enjoy each other. We laugh, and I'm okay. It doesn't rule me. But now you're an enemy. At least on Friday nights, when you cook steak and have wine, you're an enemy, right? And so that's what we need to let go of. These isms and schisms is what Bob Marley called them. Tool has a song about schisms. It's in the Bible. The word schism is when you have a distinction in really church doctrine or something that separates us. Oh, now we can't be friends because you believe that Jesus was born on Saturday and I believe he was born on Sunday. Whatever. They don't stop. And so I know think,
there's like,
go ahead.
I know there's like, you got me into Gnosticism and I didn't even realize it at first. And I know there's a lot of Christians that would disagree with Gnosticism. Personally, I know God exists. That's why I consider myself a Gnostic. Now, do I know everything or every aspect? No. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the core of Jesus' teachings is that we're all human beings, and trying not to be too judgmental on people because they're in like the same position as you. That's my take from it.
That's what you got to do. Show people. You see, but that's enlightenment. To treat people how you want to be treated or how you would like to be treated. But some people hate themselves, and some people treat themselves badly, and they'll treat you badly as well. They'll talk bad about you. They will slander your name because they don't even have they do it to themselves,
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Hey, what I was thinking just real quick about Gnosticism, I've been reading a little bit into John Crowder's stuff, mm-hmm. and I guess it's more of a question. I have a question between Gnosticism and dualism. I know there's a difference, but I feel like there's a connection because now I don't know, exactly where I'm going with this, but as a Gnostic, I think my point is let me back up. We need to have a solid understanding about certain words because I feel like that's what was it, the Little Prince who said this? This isn't biblical, but it's only with the heart that one can see rightly what is essential is invisible to the eye, right? That's a mm-hmm. quote from the Little Prince. And I feel like that's a big problem with all Christianity, all Christians, and all, not just with religion, but with anything else. So Gnosticism to me doesn't just mean, oh, I know God exists, because I would have to call myself a Gnostic. But to me, I've always thought that, and I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, that Gnosticism, from what I remember, is not being tied down to
dogma,
firm belief of karma, like what is right and wrong. Basically, if I believed in dualism, then I wouldn't believe Jesus, because Jesus already, crucified dualism on the cross, per se. I don't know if I'm articulating it right, what I'm trying to say, but just that not to be a Gnostic is just, I don't like the word. I guess I just don't like the word because it confuses people and it could lead them to a wrong perception of Gnostic and what it means to be a Gnostic.
Yeah. So
help me out here, Truth.
the word Gnostic simply, because we're like definition people. I'm a definition person. I
Yeah.
love the true meaning of words and taking them back. So the true essence of what that word means to be a Gnostic, the definition simply means relating to knowledge, especially esoteric and mystical knowledge. Guess what? I am in love with esoteric and mystical knowledge. Jesus is in love with esoteric. That's not a bad thing. It is
Why
only
get this picture in our minds about it being a bad thing?
Well, it's because once you get in,
it's dualism.
once you get into Gnosticism, so the word Gnostic is a beautiful term.
Okay.
We would call ourselves Gnostics, but getting into Gnosticism, there's a lot of things that you have to adhere to. You'd have to agree with the Gnostic Gospels, for one. You'd have to take those as truth or as literal. And I don't. I've got articles written why I don't believe the Gnostic Gospels, even though there's some beautiful things in there. I don't agree with it all. I don't think that Thomas wrote the book of Thomas. I don't think Mary Magdalene wrote the book of Mary. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
Do you believe some of it, like some of that?
No, I don't. I believe that the majority of what we know as Gnosticism is created to disprove and undo Christianity. So much of it is an enemy to the purity of our faith, our simple faith. I'll say that. And it gets into a lot of weird stuff. You mentioned dualism, the dualism being that the God of the Old Testament's a different God than the God of the New Testament. And that's a Gnostic tradition.
I don't agree that God is the devil, because like some Gnostics believe that God is the devil, or at least the one that created this physical reality. I don't agree with that, because I don't think God is evil. I think God could use evil for his own purposes.
Yeah. My view, and I try to teach it in my books and my stuff, is that there's one God. God is good. God is all. He is in everything, of everything. But there's an order within that. Just say if you have a sphere or the earth or whatever, or flat earth, whatever. But there's an order. There's seasons. There's signs. There's cycles. And there's good and there's bad, there's push and there's pull, there's positive and negative, there's polarities in everything. And just because it's a polarity doesn't mean it's evil.
Right.
Just because when you fall down, you scrape your knee, listen, it hurts. It's not bad. It's like you learn how to walk uprightly. Just because when you touch your hand to a fire's not bad. But when you touch that fire, it hurts, it burns. Man, fire is demonic. We're going to start a sect that it extinguishes all fire. The sun is made of fire. The sun, you get into weird stuff, but understanding everything has an order, a perfect order. That's the sovereignty of God. And it's not, and it is straight out of dualism. God is one.
That's right.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord is one. So even the dualism goes deeper for a religious person, because we would say God is here and he is not there. God is not in that. No, somewhere in it, somewhere between the silver linings, you'll be able to see beauty. You will be able to see, even in the darkness, you'll be able to see what we call God and the sovereign creator of all things, that all things work together for the good of those who love him. So anyway, that's, just my relationship with it. Gnosis even is just, it's dealing with the mind. It's knowledge through experience. Gnosis, to study, to have life experience, and then to learn. Listen, it's beautiful. Being a Gnostic is beautiful, but Gnosticism gets a lot of really weird stuff. Hermaphrodites, the original person was a hermaphrodite and had both genitalias. Like, that's a Gnostic tradition. There's so much weird stuff that to say, yes, I'm a Gnostic, you're like, yeah, but we even feel that way about Christians.
I was going to say, for me, it's like the same with Christianity, though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And when I tell people I'm a Christian, just because I believe in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and maybe that's the only thing that makes me a Christian. But I definitely I'm a devotee and a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ and what he did and who he was and what he accomplished for humanity.
I think mainly Gnosticism is the rejection of the Orthodox teachings that they've tried to like enforce upon us through thousands of years, centuries, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
where like some of it could be lies that they put in there themselves, and they try to take out the truth.
Like,
Well, that's
Well,
that's exactly what Satanism is. Yeah. Satanism is just if you copied Christianity and you just made the opposite.
Yeah.
I want something original. I don't want something you made just to counteract the established
if you look at
religion.
The original Gnostics, I think they were a lot like Orthodox Christians. They just had some other ideals like reincarnation that's completely rejected within the Orthodox Church and some other beliefs. But there's so many different Gnostic groups. It's not like one cohesive thing that you could say it's just this. It's
just
so
like
many
Christianity.
Different philosophies. Yeah.
Just like Christianity. Yeah. Yep. No, there's definitely some beauty in Gnosticism for sure. You may have to search to find it. There's some beauty in there in those books, but you have to know with everything, take everything with a grain of salt, hold on to the beautiful stuff, the stuff that makes you think, not the stuff that confuses you. It's okay to be confused because that's going to make you dig deeper for the answers.
Well, I learned a lot from your book. I love it. I'm still into it.
Well, if you read at the beginning that the intro to that book is a response to Gnosticism. There's different. So yeah.
I say I have. I'm just gonna say one more thing. I have some level of knowledge, but I'm not like 100% knowledgeable about everything. I think God's shown me some things, but I can't say I know everything.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, me too. You just have to take that piece of the beauty that he showed you and refine it and get really good at it and
all right.
So.
All right, peace, bro. Love your music, man. Love you, bro.
Thanks for hanging out, bro. Love you too.
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you, and I'm so glad that we had this conversation.
You too.
I just feel like I wanted to just tell you guys that I feel really at peace with, I'm not remembering what I was going to say. I'm in the garden and I'm just feeling so much peace.
Well, that's why you're at peace, because you're outside in the garden.
Whenever you guys come on and I'm in the house and I get a little gloomy because of the atmosphere, because we deal with we have a lot of family stuff, and family and friends and people. It's been a hard year with the pandemic and people and mental illness and depression. Well, that is mental, and it just lifts me up, man. I really like your show. I'll just click it on and not in an obsessive way either. It's used to be there where I'd watch all this stuff all the time, and the Lord brought me out of that because that's not good either.
Well, yeah. But now you're creating more, so you don't have.
Yeah, now it's I'm feeling the balance, and I'm just super grateful, and I wanted to share that with you. So, but I don't know if this is live or not.
We're live. And we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and end. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed and.
All right, have a good one. Bye.
Everything. So, all right, my friend.
All right, my friend. Take care.
Talk to you soon.
Yep. You too.
All right.
Oopsies.
Listen, that's why we do it. That's why we do it. Have the hard conversations. Hopefully, this we said a lot of bad words on this episode that algorithms and bots don't like, and whoever programmed those algorithms and bots don't like. I mean, that's again when we're talking about conspiracy theories. That's a conspiracy. Algorithms and bots don't like your content, so we're not going to show it to people. Obviously we can keep going with conspiracies and what is real. Oh, it's just that, there's people who are really good at YouTube, and they say, oh, you just got to make better content. It's not about the algorithms. You make good content, YouTube shows it. Well, there's certain things that they don't show anybody, that because you said a bad word that you there's stuff that if you curse in the first 2 minutes of whatever you're doing, it shows it to less people or it gets demonetized. There's rules at play. I wouldn't call myself a conspiracy theorist. I love Brent. I believe in a one world government that's ruling and that's having meetings and a new world order for sure. They been speaking about it. What is it? How deep does it go? I think it's pretty deep. in that regard, I'm definitely a conspiracy theorist as far as the Illuminati. Now, do I speak about it? Do I try to expose them? Not really. It's not going to help nobody. You know, I used to. My goal is to try to help people. My goal is to try to help people maintain peace in the midst of whatever's going on in your life. And most of us are having to deal with a lot of, strange stuff. So it's just what it's about. Find your peace. I found my peace in Christ. I found my peace in the scriptures. And evil exists. It existed in the scriptures. Nothing when we talk about spiritual warfare, spirits don't die, people die. The same spirits that were fighting against Moses through Pharaoh, Nebuchadnezzar, Joshua, Joseph, Isaiah, these people, Jesus dealt with those same spirits within the Pharisees and the Sadducees. It's a spirit, it's an essence, it's a mindset, it's a persona. We'll call them demons, right? Same kind of theory. They don't die. They are eternal. Essence is eternal. Energy is eternal, good and bad. And so we're still dealing with that now. So to think that there was a conspiracy in the land back then, and there were ruling authorities in the land in those days, why would they not be now? Why would those same ruling people, not be here now? And but you definitely don't need to focus on doom and gloom. Again, go back to the scriptures. Whatsoever is pure, whatsoever is noble, whatsoever is of good report, think on these things, and literally weigh that with a conspiracy theory. Anyone you want. Think about the good stuff. It's not to bury your head in the sand and act like it doesn't exist. But if you're passionate about something, pursue it for sure. But if you're trying to walk in peace and walk in love, you got to guard your thoughts. You got to guard your mind. With that, I'm going to say peace and shalom. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace, peace. We'll do it again later.
Your way so much higher than mine. So much higher than mine. So much deeper than mine. So much deeper than mine.
Well, that does it for this episode, folks. To hear more episodes of the TruthSeekah podcast, head over to TruthSeekah.com. And if you're wanting to support the show and get rewards, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/TruthSeekah.